Certainly not too much for craving peace that isn't built on lies. What you are is awake. And most people, especially manipulators, hate the awake ones. Why? Because the awake ones can't be controlled. They can't be deceived. They see through the veil others hide behind. The Stoics never sought comfort. They sought clarity. They trained their minds to remain sharp in a world designed to dull you down. Why? Because they understood a brutal truth. A man who sees clearly becomes dangerous. He doesn't chase validation. He doesn't beg for loyalty. He doesn't waste his breath explaining his standards to those who don't respect them. And he cannot be seduced by false flattery, fake humility, or manipulative innocence. So remember these 5 red flag questions. Each one is a chess move designed to blind you. Each one is bait wrapped in sugar. But now the board looks different, because you know the game. You know the tactics. You're no longer the pawn being pushed around. You are the player. And pawns are sacrificed. But players, they win. That's where the fire drill of truth comes in. Every time someone makes you feel off balance, run this mental drill. Ask yourself, is this person seeking truth, or are they seeking control? Am I being guilted into silence? Would Marcus Aurelius or Seneca tolerate this kind of question? What happens if I don't answer? Who gets uncomfortable then? And if I watched this same scene happen to a friend, would I call it healthy, or would I call it manipulation? If the answer stings, trust it. If your gut tightens into a knot, don't ignore it. Your instinct isn't broken, it's under attack. And that's exactly why liars work so hard to make you doubt yourself, because self-doubt is the soil where manipulation grows. But the Stoics? They trained themselves never to flinch. They knew the power of stillness, of clarity, of calmness in the face of lies. And now, so can you. Not by fighting with rage, not by shouting or striking back, but by standing firm in awareness. Not by aggression, but by being unshakable. And that, more than anything else, makes you dangerous. Because when you can sit calmly in front of a liar, when you can see right through them without breaking your peace, you've already won. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos. And remember, stay awake, stay clear, stay unshakable. I'll see you in the next one. Have you ever felt that strange chill when someone asked you a question that seemed innocent, but something deep inside told you it wasn't? What if I told you, not all lies are spoken. Some are hidden inside the very questions people ask you. And once you learn to recognize these traps, you'll never look at a simple question the same way again. There's a dangerous kind of question out there, one that doesn't search for truth, but for control. If you've ever felt your stomach twist, your chest tighten, or your instincts scream that something was off when someone asked you a question, you've already met it. Because manipulators don't just lie with words, they lie with questions. These are twisted questions, loaded, poisoned, crafted not to understand you but to bend you, to silence you, to make you second-guess your own senses. And once you see them clearly, once you know their patterns, the world will never look the same. Today we're diving deep, dark and unfiltered into the psychological warfare of manipulators, and we'll use the same wisdom the Stoics relied on to stay unbreakable in a world full of shadows. The first trap. Why are you being so sensitive? This is not curiosity. It's not even concern. It's an accusation disguised as a question, a gas-like grenade designed to explode inside your mind. What they're really saying is, I want to violate your boundaries, and I need you to feel guilty for noticing. Seneca once wrote, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. And that's exactly what this weapon exploits. It makes you imagine that you're too emotional, that your awareness is weakness, that your instincts are wrong. But here's the truth. Sensitivity is not fragility. Sensitivity is awareness. And awareness is a liar's worst enemy. The one who feels too much is the one who notices cracks before they shatter. Marcus Aurelius put it best. If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change, for it is the truth I seek. So when someone throws this line at you, don't retreat. Look them in the eye and say calmly, I'm not being sensitive, I'm being observant. Are you uncomfortable with that? And then watch how quickly their mask begins to slip. The second trap. You trust me, right? At first glance it sounds gentle, even sweet, but underneath it's a test. A trustworthy person never demands blind loyalty. they prove it. Anyone who asks this question is already revealing their weakness. They need control, not trust. This isn't really a request, it's a silent threat. Don't question me, don't use your instincts, just hand me your faith without proof. But Epictetus warned us, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. And that's the danger. When you're pressured with "you trust me," right? You're being pushed to shut down your curiosity, to silence your caution, to ignore the very signals that protect you. Real trust doesn't need to be demanded. It grows naturally, through honesty, through action, through consistency. A liar, on the other hand, uses this question to lock the door before you even realize you're trapped. We ended the previous section by exposing how manipulators hide their lies inside questions, turning curiosity into a weapon. Now let's keep pulling on that thread and see what happens when you stop reacting and start observing. Because here's the truth. The more real questions you ask, the more their carefully built lies begin to crumble, like paint peeling off an old wall. Instead of rushing into blind trust, apply the Stoic principle of apatheia, that calm, centered detachment that refuses to be dragged into someone else's storm. Don't rush, don't react, simply observe. If someone drops one of these loaded lines on you, slow yourself down. Breathe. Ground your feet. Then say, "Trust is earned through consistency. Are you asking me to ignore my judgment?" Watch closely. A liar won't have an answer. Most of the time they'll do one of two things: change the subject or get angry. Let them. Anger and deflection are like smoke when the fire is starting to go out. It's a sign you're close to the truth. Trap 3. Are you accusing me of something? This is the liar's classic deflection move. They frame your curiosity as aggression. They flip the script. Suddenly, without even realizing it, you become the villain in their story. And just like that, you're not exposing them anymore, you're defending yourself. This question is designed to flip your brain into panic mode. Suddenly you're backpedaling, explaining, apologizing. But for what? For thinking? For noticing? That's the trick. The first step toward wisdom is knowing when to be silent. Yet silence doesn't mean surrender. It means choosing your battles with precision. This question deserves neither a yes nor a no. It deserves stillness. When someone throws "are you accusing me" at you, understand exactly what's happening. They're testing your strength. Hold their gaze. Let 2 or 3 seconds stretch. Then calmly respond, "Should I be?" 9 times out of 10, they'll stumble. Liars expect panic, not power. Trap 4. Would I ever lie to you? This one is poison wrapped in velvet. It's not a real question. It's a performance. They want you to imagine them as incapable of deception, as if they're above lying, pure, noble, shocked that you'd even consider doubting them. But pause and think about it. Why would someone even ask that unless they already know you're close to uncovering something? The Stoics would warn against falling for this trap. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about others. Speculation hinders your understanding of what is." This question is pure misdirection. It invites you to speculate instead of observe. So don't answer the question. Answer with a question of your own. Next time someone looks you in the eye and says, "Would I ever lie to you?" pause, breathe, and respond calmly. That's not the question. The question is, "Would I know if you did?" They won't expect that. Liars operate in fog, and you've just switched on the floodlight. Trap 5. Can't we just move on from this? Translation: I don't want to be held accountable. This is the liar's final card, the exhaustion play, emotional fatigue. They want you to feel tired of questioning them, to give up, not because you've found clarity, but because you're worn down. But the Stoics knew this tactic well. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Liars want you to move on before the truth is uncovered. Because if you stay just a little longer, if you keep pressing just a little more, you'll start connecting the dots. And once that happens, game over. Refuse to be rushed. Truth doesn't have a deadline. Respond with quiet certainty. I'll move on when I understand what happened, not before. They'll hate that, because it means you're anchored in truth, and they can't move you. Final warning. Liars don't just lie with words. They lie with feelings. They twist your perception until you can't tell if you're the one losing your mind. But when you recognize these tactics, when you hold your ground with calm clarity, their power dissolves. You become the one who sees through the fog, and once you see, you can't be unseen. They'll try to make you feel guilty for being intelligent, as if your ability to notice the cracks makes you flawed. They'll try to shame you for asking questions, as though curiosity is some kind of crime. They'll call you cold for using logic, unreasonable for having standards. Step by step, they'll twist the narrative until suddenly you become the villain in their story, simply for daring to notice the plot holes. But hear me clearly. You are not broken for having boundaries. You are not cruel for asking hard questions. You are not paranoid for wanting the truth. And you are